Ugh, had to adjust myself, guys. TMI, right? Um, Today we have a fragrance from one of my favorite designer houses of all time, Lalique, and this is one of the first fragrances they ever made. But I think people should put a lot more respect on its name, man, because it's one of the least talked about from the line. But you should be talking about it, especially if you got some hair on your chest. Strap up.
Okay, feeling for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You are on top, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. On this channel, we talk about my fragrance journey and everything that comes with it. This is basically just a camera on my personal journey through fragrance. I've smelled lots of fragrances. I've bought lots of fragrances. I'm just giving you guys tricks, tips, and evaluations of fragrances I've had my eye on and that people are interested in. And it's kind of just manifested into this crazy entertainment, information type of platform for fragrance. So here I am. I don't call myself a reviewer, but we do a lot of reviews over here, so I guess I'm reviewing fragrances for now. Today we've got a lovely review for you guys, and this is from the house of Lalique, and this is Lalique pour Homme Lion. When you look it up, sometimes they will say lion because this fragrance imitates this fragrance right here. This is Lalique's Equus, and it has a horse head. This is the bigger bottle, but this is a lion's head. Equus is not Lalique pour Homme, but sometimes they call Equus Lalique Equus horse or something. I don't know. It's like a weird titling. But this is not Equus. This is Lalique pour Homme, and sometimes they call it pour Homme lion. This fragrance was made in 1997. Anything else you need to know about it? No, I will give you the rest of the information. So I bought the big bottle, and I think I got this for like 20 bucks, maybe 25 max. And to my surprise, at the time, I didn't know exactly what I was buying. I seen it described. I saw the notes. I heard a lot of people say fougere, whatever. But then I noticed when I got it, it smelled strikingly familiar to another fragrance. And that fragrance is Creed's Bois du Portugal. And when I came across that, I was quite happy because I think Bois de Portugal is one of the sexiest modern fougere type of gentlemanly fragrances. I think it's the new age gentleman. It's one of those fougeres that's like modern and refreshingly new feeling, but the fragrance was made forever ago. Like, I think the fragrance was made even a year before this one. 97. I think Bois de Portugal was made in 87, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least close to that. And so, but it has like a timeless fougere-ness to it because it's fougere, but it's way more elegant because there's a little bit more going on. It's not like your typical oriental or barbershop feel. This feels like very, 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 very gentlemanly. Like like if you're in London in like I don't know if this is in London, but like a Buckingham Palace, like a Buckingham Palace type of guy, you walk in, you're getting your shoes buffed and you're in a suit and you're having tea and crumpets type of gentleman. But yeah, and so Lalique in a lot of ways is like designer cloning after this DNA. I'm air quoting that because that's not actually true, but it could be. Because this was made 10 years later and it goes right after it. I would say the only difference between this and Bois de Portugal is this is a bit more older fougere feeling. Like it moves closer to the barbershop than Bois de Portugal, but just by the tiniest bit. Like this is like 90% Bois de Portugal. Portugal is a little bit sweeter, a little bit more timeless. This feels a little bit of a deviation over to you're almost in a really expensive barbershop. And some people would even go as far as to say that a great alternative to Bois de Portugal over this is Mercedes-Benz Intense. So I can attest to that a little bit, and I could see why. But this smells more of Creed caliber than Bentley for Men or than Mercedes-Benz Intense. So in a lot of ways, I feel like this is the closest rendition to it because it's at least 90. Mercedes-Benz Intense feels more like 95 closeness to Bois de Portugal, but feels a little less expensive. Still smells expensive, but of $300-$400 caliber, not necessarily. So there's give and take with each. I think this is a sexy, masculine, modern fougere fragrance for men that has a timelessness to it that, in the same way that people chase after like the Dracars and the Fahrenheits and different fragrances in those categories of just like early 2000s, 90s gentlemen. This is just like not a lot's touching this, man. Let's do an initial impressions real quick. Now that I've kind of given a lot of backstory, I try not to talk too much and just go straight into the initial impressions with a fragrance. But I have a lot of backstory with this, so I wanted to share it because I feel like it'll help you decide if you want to buy it. Man, and off the bat, you get like this very fresh green and pepper. It's like just like black pepper. It's like a very dense like black pepper and fresh green, spicy, earthy blast. Almost like a very old school, not shaving cream, but shaving, what's the stuff you splash yourself with after you shave? Aftershave. It's got a very like pepper, fresh, spicy, serious like cedar type of aftershave alcohol to it. Boom. It's like, whoa, in the air. You get that right off the bat. And that's the barbershop side of this. Real quick, let me just put this on skin. I need to remember how this sits because I think it warms up and it gets a little bit less peppery. But yeah, that's what I notice immediately about this fragrance, where it's just like serious gentleman. I think you can't even touch this fragrance unless you're in your late 20s and up. But I love this, man. This is like something you would have smelled on your dad when he was getting a fresh shave back in the day and they just put a little modern flair on it. Man, see, for people who hate fougere fragrances, this really puts fougere back on the map. This reminds people the beauty of upscale fougere because there is a sexy appeal about the masculinity that's packed in this punch. You know, this is like what the girl, like people our age, it's like if there is a woman my age, like 36, like this is what she would have wanted her dad to smell like, or her fond memories of smelling her dad come in the door from work or whatever, and he's making a lot of money. As a little girl, she smelled that and it made her feel like she was protected and safe and like she just had the best dad in the world type of vibe. So I don't want to say it's got dad vibes, but I'm saying like there's a part of the fougere-ness that I think comes with kind of like a cultural influence of like, with gentlemanliness comes like ideas of wealth and like protection and the ideal man that everybody wants to be, the trustworthy man, the hardworking man, the not so fancy and pretty guy. He's like the man's man that gets to work, does his job, and he's successful, and his family loves him, and he's protected and he's protecting his family, and he's respected by the community. That's what type of vibe comes with this fougere-ness. And I think those are the elements we appreciate about them. I also think we appreciate the simplicity of a DNA like this. You know, it's more earthy than normal. You know, it's almost like they took a lot of natural ingredients and maybe just added some citrus or something, but they're mostly working with earthy aroma chemicals to achieve this, you know, barbershop with a twist type of feel. Okay, I'm done blabbing because we're already 10 minutes in and I haven't even gotten to the like the pyramid. But look at this pyramid. You would never in a million years guess what this fragrance smells like looking at all this crap. Lavender, rosemary, bergamot, grapefruit, pomelo, orange, tangerine, cedar, iris, lily of the valley, jasmine, oak moss, sandalwood, vanilla, patchouli, amber. If I was looking at this pyramid, I would be highly disappointed when I went to go smell the fragrance because I would anticipate smelling some bright, fruity, floral earthiness, and you don't get that. There's a heavy, heavy dose of dark earthiness from oak moss, patchouli, and sandalwood. There is not much iris at all to this. There is heavy, heavy, heavy amounts of cedar and rosemary. accented by a freshness of white florals. And as far as the lavender and citruses up top, I don't really get bergamot, grapefruit, pomelo, orange, and tangerine. You can almost excuse all of that. This is mostly a lavender, rosemary, cedar, lily, jasmine, oak moss, patchouli fragrance, and sandalwood. Vanilla you can excuse. Amber, yes, it does warm up on skin. You know, the iris and lavender might be providing some textural elements to this, but this is a cedar blast, a cedary, almost peppery blast with rosemary. And then when it sits on skin, the white florals, oak moss, sandalwood, patchouli come up from behind it and provide some sweetness and a little bit of dimension to the earthy category. But this is, it's got elements of old school fougere in it in the best way possible. So let me leave you with this before we cover the usual suspects here. If you're a young man under the age of like 27, don't get this fragrance. Get Mercedes-Benz Intense. Mercedes-Benz Intense is young money. Young millionaire status. It smells just like this, but less fougere and more emphasized in the fruits and florals, and kind of gives you more of that, you know, new money feel. If you're a grown man, 27 and up, and you're tired of smelling like, and you don't want to smell like young boy money, you want to smell like you've been had the bag, tap into this bag all day long. Think 20, 25 bucks, 100 ml. This is a steal. Such niche quality to this. It's not even funny. And it's very close to Bota Portugal. Refer to the beginning of the video if you guys want to know the differences between Lalique, Pour Homme, Lion, and Mercedes-Benz Intense as far as the closeness to the fragrance. I'm not going to repeat that because we're already quite deep into the video. Okay, usual suspects. I gave you guys the age range. Don't mess with this if you're under like 27. Even if you like fougere, don't mess with it unless you're above 27. Sprays on this. Let me go back to the performance here. I thought this was fairly moderate as a performer. Yeah, it is quite long lasting. I think you get 6 to 8 hours, no question. This is the type of fragrance where I think you get an hour per spray. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I'm wearing this out, I go 6 to 8 sprays, and I'm not spraying it anymore for the day. If I want it to last like beyond the shift, I'm doing like 8 sprays. And I'm pretty much anywhere I spray, I'm doing double. But if you just want to kind of have like a fresh out of the shower, fresh, clean shaven vibe, I would go for like 4 sprays. And it's going to probably dissipate after like 3-4 hours. But at least you kind of have like, you know, you're still going to smell fresh. You know, like you just stepped out of the barber after a shower. You went to the barber and now you're going out for your day. This is upscale casual. And because it's gentlemanly, I think it can creep into semi-formal and formal category the older of a man you are. But I think more universally, like around the clock, this sits in the upscale casual at best category. You know, doing your day-to-day stuff, but you are a man's man. You are a gentleman. So don't go out wearing sports shorts and a tee, my older gentleman, wearing this fragrance. It's going to be out of place. Again, because you feel like you just got out of an upscale barber and you took a shower, right? So you need to smell the part. You need to at least have a collared shirt on, some jeans, some slacks, whatever you do, right? Man, this is a timeless DNA. I think every man should have this in their collection for nostalgia. If you carry Dracar Noir, Dracar Intense, what are some of my older ones? Your Salvatore Ferragamo Pour Hommes, your Bentley for Men Intenses, anything from Bentley. What else do I got over there? Yeah, I don't carry like a ton of fougères, but this is just a timeless class. This is the timeless classy man for me, man. This is just nice. I give this fragrance a 9 out of 10. I did it. Part of me wanted to go with an 8, but gosh dang it, there's too much complexity in this for an 8. It punches way above its weight class, and it feels niche. Like I said, it is extremely close to Bois de Portugal. And to be quite honest, the only reason I didn't give it a 10 is because it has an old schoolness to it. Remember, Bois de Portugal was made in the late 80s. This was made in the late 90s. We are 25 years later in on this fragrance. So I don't think it's, you know, several centuries timeless. You know what I'm saying? It will be, but not in the sense of popularity and stuff like that. So for me personally, it's a 9 fragrance. I think if you're not into fougere, it would be a 7. And if you're somewhere in the middle, it would be an 8. But nonetheless, like, you got to try this fragrance. Don't blind buy this. If you love fougeres, it's infinitely blind buy worthy, and especially for the amount of juice you get, or if you've ever been chasing Bois de Portugal, I know a lot of people have been. It's a fragrance not a lot of people talk about from Creed, but all the gentlemen you see in content creation talk about Bois de Portugal. It is a staple niche fragrance in FragCom if you're a grown man. But yeah, if you're hesitant in the fougere category, I think that's one of the best offerings in it. You can always decant it, but to me, the fact that you can get that for like 20-30 bucks, a decant's going to cost you $3 to $7, probably closer to like 5 to 8 after shipping and all that jazz. Like, you might as well just buy the fragrance, man. You could easily flip that. No real alternatives because the fragrance is so cheap. I'm going to step out of here, guys. I really like that fragrance, man. I remember when I smelled that, I was just absolutely blown away. It's really nice. Like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. We drop content every single day. Hey, guys, I'm curious. Have you put your nose to this? Have you heard of it? The perfumers in Lalique really outdo themselves. They always have a niche feel to them. Some fragrances lack in performance, yeah, but this one doesn't, and this is an original, and the fact that this still competes with some of the more modern offerings from Lalique is nothing short of brilliant. So I'm giving it a 9. Let me know, guys, fragrances that have an old school feel, like older fougere, but have a hybrid new fougere timelessness to them. Let me know what your fragrances are in those categories, and don't type it in below if it's Bentley for Men Intense or Bois de Portugal. Give me some new ones that I haven't mentioned. Or Dracar. Don't put Dracar in the bottom, or Dracar Intense and all that. Let's get some new offerings. I really want to present like a top 10 fougere sometime in the near future, and this will be a part of it easily. But anyways, guys, this was Lalique pour Homme, also referred to as Lalique pour Homme Lion. You can get it in a half size or a biggie size, but the biggie size is like just a couple bucks more, so you might as well get more juice and share the wealth. This was the Scent Bubble. I hope you guys have a blessed week, and I hope this review was helpful for you.